This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning and happy Monday. It is 5 a.m. I'm Alex Fisher along with Ileana Capayan. Maddie has a kind of a long weekend, if you will. So she'll be back later this week. She is enjoying some much needed time off. But boy, did we have a great sight yesterday.
Finally, rain.
For the first time in April, some rain.
First time. That's crazy to actually hear it that way, because I know we've heard Kevin tell us it's been kind of a dry April, but to actually see the rain coming down and walking out this morning and seeing the ground wet, it's kind of a nice sight to see.
Oh, it's definitely nice. Let's turn things over to him to ask the big question. Will we see more later today? Kev?
Yeah, we definitely see some rain. Take a look at this video from the rain coming down last night around Kern County, and definitely wet streets. And we've got wet streets this morning as well, as more rain is in the forecast for us today. So a great sight to see. We definitely need it. It's not going to race away the drought, but hey, any rain will help. Take a look at some of the totals that we picked up so far as of this morning in the past 24 hours. 1,300 of an inch out at Meadows Field, about a tenth of an inch out near Delano, Buttonwillow about a tenth, Taft about the same. So you can see these totals are right on track with what we talked about last week. We'd be right around a tenth of an inch, 1,800 so out into Frazier Park. Currently, you can see on the satellite and radar some more showers are pushing on in outside our studios. It is wet, so if you are going to be hitting the roadways this morning, just take it easy because we haven't seen rain in such a long time. A lot of those oils come up out of the asphalt. It can make for very slick conditions, and you can see from our downtown camera here, some of those raindrops are falling. As we take a look at the temperature, 52 degrees, a north wind light at 5 miles per hour. As we go throughout today, things will start to taper off. As you can see, by 7 a.m., we're looking at cloudy skies. Those clouds are going to hang around. We'll see some sunshine probably as we get into the later half of the afternoon. Only 60s on the board today. Tehachapi, you've got some clouds, low clouds, some fog, and also some showers. Snow level at 5,500 feet, so I'm not expecting snow in the Tehachapi area unless you're above that. 37 degrees right now. A northwest wind at 21, and visibility, if you are going to be traveling along the 58, has dropped to 0 in some locations. And you can see throughout the day, we are going to be looking at those clouds and also that wind throughout the day as well. When will the sunshine return? I've got more details on that in just a few minutes.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. We have a report card this morning evaluating how Americans think President Biden is doing as he approaches his first 100 days this week. Tracy Potts has a look at his approval rating on everything from guns to immigration.
Good morning, Alex. We've got the numbers for you on areas where the public thinks President Biden is doing well and others not so much. Plus a comparison to the last two presidents. As President Biden prepares to address Congress this week, a new NBC News poll gives him a 53% approval rating for his first 100 days, ahead of Donald Trump, but behind Barack Obama at the same point. His highest rating, 69% for handling the pandemic.
I certainly think that he's taken the leadership role that I was hoping that he would.
More than half the country gives Biden a thumbs up on the economy, but he fares much lower on gun policies and immigration, with only a third approving of how he's handled the crisis at the border.
It's not going to be solved overnight. It's a complex issue. Listen, if this were easy, it would have been handled years ago.
Arizona's governor declared a state of emergency, deploying 250 National Guard troops. He wants more resources from the federal government.
If the administration isn't going to do anything, then Arizona will.
In his first joint address to Congress Wednesday, Biden is expected to push for immigration reform, police reform, and stricter gun laws. Despite President Biden doing fairly well overall and in some key areas, our poll showed most people, 82%, still think our nation is divided. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
And at least one person is recovering this morning after a car crash in southwest Bakersfield last night. Here's a look at the aftermath. According to Pulse Point, the call came in just before 10:15 p.m. at the corner of White Lane and Stein Road. At least 2 cars were involved in the crash. Witnesses on scene say at least one person was transported in an ambulance. It's unclear at this time what led up to the crash at this time. And on Saturday night, another crash, this time in central Bakersfield. It happened around 11:30 p.m. on Palm and Oak Streets. It's unclear what led to the crash, but at least one car ended up running into a nearby fire hydrant, causing some flooding in that area. Video shows a man being questioned before taking a sobriety test. That man was then led away in handcuffs. No word yet on any injuries or if any arrests were made.
And law enforcement says 2 men are dead after a high-speed crash in central Bakersfield. Police were called to Golden State Highway near W Street just before 6:15 Saturday night. Officers say the car was traveling in the far right lane before swerving into the middle lanes and crashing. First responders described the driver as a man in his 70s and the passenger as a man in his 60s. Both men died in the crash, and their names have not been released. Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County. And after a record-breaking 111 ICU patients during the winter peak, as of this morning, state data shows only 6 people are in a Kern County ICU with coronavirus. That is one of the lowest totals of local ICU patients since the beginning of this pandemic. Kern Public Health reported 24 new cases yesterday and no new deaths. 1,345 lives have been lost to COVID-19 in Kern County since last March. Public Health also reports the county has its first strain of the more contagious B.1.351 variant first detected in South Africa, and 8 existing cases of the B.1.1.7 strain linked to the United Kingdom. Experts say COVID-19 variants spread more easily and can make symptoms more severe. An advisory committee to the Centers for Disease Control now says the U.S. can resume using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but it should come with a warning. The CDC paused the vaccine for 11 days after 15 people developed severe blood clots after receiving the vaccine. Health experts maintain that the risk of developing the blood clots is extremely rare.
And a growing number of Americans have missed their second COVID-19 vaccination. New data through early April shows that nearly 8% of people have missed their second dose. That number is up from about 3.4% from earlier this year. The CDC says the increase in missed second doses was expected as eligibility expanded to more people. It is unclear why the second doses are being missed or delayed. The CDC says more analysis is needed.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
And here at home, a local organization called Bring Back the Kern gathered Saturday morning to pick up trash along the Kern River. Event organizers hope to clean the land to benefit Kern residents and honor those who lived here before.
This was their land before it was ever ours, and we can be stewards for this land, but I also like to give recognition to the original natives that lived here before we did.
Video shows dozens of bags from this weekend's haul totaling over 125 cubic yards of trash. Event organizers say 120 people took part in the cleanup.
This week the debate continues on how to spend local tax revenue from Bakersfield's Measure In. The Citizens Oversight Committee set to discuss the use of nearly $80 million in Measure In funds. They'll be reviewing the budget and its proposed spending, including the hiring of 9 new police officers, 8 senior police officers, 6 detectives, and 5 sergeants. It also includes 30 new patrol vehicles and 4 police motorcycles. The Oversight Committee meeting is today at noon in the Potato Room at Mechanics Bank Arena. Vandenburg Airforce Base and the United Launch Alliance plans to blast a rocket into space today from the base's Space Launch Complex 6 in Santa Barbara County. I want to show you some video from a past liftoff at the airbase. Crews plan to launch the Delta IV Heavy rocket at about 1:45 this afternoon, carrying top secret cargo for a mission with the National Reconnaissance Office. Experts say there is a 40% chance the weather will be acceptable for the launch. If you want to watch the liftoff, you can visit the link on your screen, facebook.com/ULA launch.
AGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Your time now is 5:26 and National College Decision Day is almost here. It's a deadline the class of 2021 has been preparing for since their junior year. And if your senior hasn't committed to a school yet, NBC's Dan Shinneman has some tips that may help make their decision easier.
The pressure is on for high school seniors across the country. The deadline to make final college and university decisions is May 1st. So how does a student choose? Experts say make a list of what is important to you with everything from location, majors, and even divisional sports.
There's so much hype and so much in U.S. news and so much around the rankings, around where you have to go, but really looking at the fit and where you belong and what's important to you.
Finances also play a big factor. Consider where you want to be in 5 years and if the cost of education will garner you an appropriate salary after graduation. And use your financial aid package to negotiate with other schools.
Maybe it'll help by a few thousand, but a few thousand is better than no thousand.
What if you are waitlisted?
It's really a mistake that students make to think that it's something that they did to cause them to be on the wait list. And it's really all about what's happening on the college side of things.
Cancellations of SAT and ACTs during the pandemic forced colleges to adopt test optional policies when applying to schools.
Universities have seen 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% increases in their applications. As a result, colleges have no choice but to put all of these very qualified students on a wait list.
If you don't get into your dream school, experts say consider a community college and transferring in your sophomore or junior year. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
From our 17 follow-up file, the case of Mariah Neufeld remains unsolved nearly 2 months after the teen's body was found near Arvin. But locals say they do not want her memory to fade away. 17's Raphael Stroud attended a vigil last night where groups prayed for justice and peace.
Well, right now we pray for Nancy and Kimberly, the entire house.
Despite the rain and the cold, faith groups came together to pray against violence in Kern County, with a special focus on the case of Mariah Neufeld, the 16-year-old mother shot to death in March.
For her son, who's going to have to grow up and never know his mom.
Speaking for the family, her aunt Nancy Larson once again put out a plea for information, and her mother Kimberly braved the rain while going through her own battle with cancer. District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer was encouraged by the community support, but she hopes for more answers.
I pray that whoever knows about what happened can feel the Spirit of the Lord heavy upon their hearts.
Saying this shouldn't happen in Kern.
Law enforcement is heartsick over the loss of this young girl, Mariah, for the family and for the community.
Mariah's family still working to keep the case in the public's eye, promoting their GoFundMe campaign, the Investigation and Reward Fund for Mariah Neufeld, to add to the $2,000 they already raised to help crack the case.
Making sure that though she may not physically be here, she's not gone, and we're not going to let her go either.
Reverend Jesse Munoz and Pastor Ray Ballard organized the event, praying for peace and justice while pleading for someone to do the right thing. But it's also personal for Ballard, because his daughter knew Mariah.
No child deserves to leave this earth in that fashion and to be discovered the way she was discovered, so my heart really went out to the family.
The teen was found shot in the head, abandoned in Arvin, at an orchard just off Towerline Road and Buena Vista Boulevard. All that's known is that she could have been in Arvin and East Bakersfield before she was killed.
We're not going to let go of this. We're not going away. We're going to push, we're going to fight, and we're going to find out who did this.
That was 17's Raphael Stroud reporting. And you can find the GoFundMe page on our website, kgt.com. You can also go to gofundme.com and look for Mariah Neufeld. Right now, the total reward is close to $3,000 for any information that could lead to the sheriff's office looking for a suspect in this case. If you know anything that could help, call KCSO at 861-3110. You can also stay anonymous and call current secret witness at 322-4040.
Investigation continues this morning to a pair of structure fires over the weekend. The first fire broke out around 10:30 p.m. Friday night at a single home on Carrere Street in Oildale. When first responders arrived, they found these flames shooting several feet into the air, hurling smoke into the sky and potentially threatening surrounding buildings. Several fire engines responded to the blaze. It's unclear what started this fire. And another structure fire broke out in East Bakersfield Saturday night. First responders were called to the area of Orange Street near Nile Street just after 9 p.m. Video shows flames consuming what appears to be a garage next to a home. One vehicle was caught in the blaze, with a downed power line shooting bright blue sparks. No information has been released about whether anyone was in the building or if anyone was hurt. This investigation is ongoing.
In your 17 Court Watch this morning, yesterday marked 3 years since 20-year-old Bailey Despot went missing. She is part of the Bakersfield Three, a trio who went missing or were killed within weeks of each other back in 2018. Today, a man tied to the investigation is due back in court. Bailey Despot was reported missing, and no physical evidence has emerged confirming her possible death. Despot and her former boyfriend, Matthew Queen, were charged with murdering their mutual friend, Micah Holsenbake, another member of the Bakersfield Three, whose arm was found in the Kern River late that year. Queen is due in court today, facing charges of torture, a couple dozen other crimes. The third member of the Bakersfield Three is James Kolstad, who was gunned down in South Bakersfield on April 8, 2018. Two men accused of two deadly shootings are due in court today. 23-year-old Jorge Flores and 22-year-old Carlos Trejo were arrested last week on suspicion of 2 counts of murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, conspiracy, and gang participation. The men were allegedly behind the killings of Vladimir Sanchez and Scotty Tripp just hours apart from each other on January 15th. Police say the killings were related.
And here at home, new artwork will beautify downtown Bakersfield for a good cause, as the Bakersfield Breakfast Rotary took on an art project in Southwest Bakersfield. Nearly 24 volunteers started painting a mural this weekend near the intersection of Ming Avenue and Stein Road. The Rotary Club is joining forces with Kern Bridges Youth Homes.
The butterflies go in turn with Kern Bridges. It's a youth home, so I did want to represent different kids, different races and different ages, and we still have plans of maybe even adding some more.
The mural mirrors a wall of butterflies inside the group home's headquarters in downtown Bakersfield. If you're considering adoption or if you'd like to make a donation, visit kernbridges.com.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.